Oh, there I am. I missed the thumbnail, so I didn't get. I look really like I'm a million miles away. I was glancing down, doing something, and forgot to do something silly. Oh, sorry. I've still got this. I'm sure now it's hay fever with the sore eyes and the everything going on. How can you get hay fever when you're stuck at home? Oh well, there we go. That's life. Unfortunately, it comes along with runny noses and headaches and everything too. Okay, I'll put my microphone up so you can hear what I'm saying. Oh, there is everybody. Hayley. Hey, Scott, how you going? Hi, Teresa, how are you? I'm just having a gripe about the whole hay fever. Oh, look at this. Everybody's here today. Woohoo! Hey, Jane, how you going? Hey, Gillian. Hi, Moira. Oh, and Deborah's here too. And Tamara. Very nice. Look at you all go. You must have got the bell this morning. Everybody's come in at once. I just feeling sorry for myself. So I thought I'll get online. That will cheer me up being around you guys. That will make me feel a lot better. Okay, so I can't get myself organised for the life of me today. Yes, you're all on time. No demerits, no detentions today. Hi, Joanne. How are you going? You get hat fever. I think you mean hay fever, Scott. I'm even looking a little pale today, so I know I have not feeling that well. You can see Haley and Scott, isn't it? She had a mirror, didn't she, in Romper Room? My eyes are still a little sore. They're not as red as they were yesterday, but I have a rip-roaring headache today and I feel really tired. But, oh, that card wants to come out. But everything's good. I can't even remember what's cracking this morning. Did you notice my little bit of artistry, though? I've learned how to do those the thumbnails for you got the tiger and the lizard for the what's cracking and the readings, the little thumbnails. I'm just learning to do all this stuff. So yeah, I can't remember the what's cracking. Oh my goodness, yes, and the 4 aces. How cool was that? Yeah, it was. It was a really good reading, and I did it sideways. How cool am I? The camera wasn't sideways. The camera was exactly the same as it always is. There was no difference. And when I went to upload it, I thought, that's a bit strange. It looks like it's side on. And then, of course, when I uploaded, it was side on. And I thought, if it hadn't have been a great reading, I would have taken it down and just really done it. But that wasn't intentional at all, that sideways thing. So there you go. Someone's in charge, you see. It's not me. Someone else has taken control here. Because they decided that for some crazy reason, they were going to put me upside down. And I have no idea why. And I thought there's probably a way to put it around. Hey, how are you? How are you, Joe? Haven't seen you on for a while. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it came up sideways. I have no idea. But you can see my iPad sits in that contraption there. It's never moved. It's always in that contraption. So I don't know why. That's why I said maybe it's because I don't know. It's just such a good reading. I was like, I'm not throwing it away. It was too good. 4 aces. Yeah, how often do you see that in a reading? And there's only, in theory, there's 10 cards on the table. And there is usually 3 or 4 I use for that bit of a mini story, but it's not many cards to get that many aces and major arcanas. All right. Lizard spirit coming out first. Oh, how are you, Carla? My goodness, we've got a busy day. You could watch it sideways. You might get something different out of it if you watch it sideways. I'm not quite sure. Oh, head troll, waving from my canoe in storm-soaked Florida. That sounds like so much fun. Okay. People are coming in, so I may not see you all come in. I'll come back and check in a moment. When there's a lot of you, you fly through so quickly with your comments. Lizard. This is about being instinctual, sensitive to the subtle and the dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception, as if it has a sixth sense. The lizard hears what's yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights and big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. So this guy's an empath. Too much noise, too many people. It's about being artistic, telepathic, and spiritual. So I think this is what we're all sort of taking on, this energy of the moment and taking us out of the limelight a little bit. Okay, very interesting. So we've got him with the tiger. So this is about lunar force, ease in darkness, and feminine energy. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. Okay. This is about being passionate, strong, and sensual. This is about really sitting in your own power at the moment. This is about being creative, being who you are meant to be. Perhaps that means I can't watch Supernatural tonight. I probably need to be writing or doing, but really feeding into your intuition and your creativity. How very, very nice. Hi, Maria. How are you going? Hey, Sarah. How are you going? Did I miss anybody? So time to take time out from the world and do something with your creativity. That's all right. Hey, Santana, how you going? Sarah, yes, time to be writing your book, definitely. Too sexy for your spiritual journey. I can almost hear you singing that song. Oh, that card wants to come out. Oh, message in a bottle. Okay, how does that ring true with the other stuff? I did do some writing last night. I really need to get into writing a little bit more as well. Okay. Message in a bottle. Communication, a sign, a cledon, the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker. Pointing, and if you can't speak, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Sorry. Pointing the way to your highest good. So Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them, and when you believe, you will receive them. And when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens, they may come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, or a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open for something someone might say, just the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today, your message is this: Spirit hears you and the reply is favorable. So I can understand why you're being asked to be quiet and be creative, because Spirit is bringing messages through to you at the moment, so that might help you on your journey. Was it last night, yesterday? Because the 444 I get all the time, like it's just constant. And something really bizarre came up yesterday. It was all fours again. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe how dominant those fours are for me. I can create with Supernatural on in the background. I'd like to say that, but unfortunately, there's too much eye candy on Supernatural. I love watching it. So I do, it is my treat in the evening. But that's really cool. Writing is a good outlet. And you had a dream about a tiger and a donkey. Don't know if we've read about a donkey. Yeah, it's definitely a time to be really tuned in. So taking some quiet time. Um, oh no, Santana, I'd be listening to music. Yep. Hey, Jules, how you going? Oh, you're such a beautiful person. um, Definitely a time for taking time out, doing something creative, because I feel that you are going to get messages here without any doubt. And that's what that message in a bottle's about. So I feel like this is a time now to getting some guidance if you're waiting for something. Um, I agree with you, Sarah. The 11s, 22s, 33s have been really coming through. But I do think, yeah, it's a good time for sort of sitting in your own energy at the moment if you're waiting to get sort of signals or signs of which direction to go in, which a lot of people are. Yeah, the fours. Yeah, that's true. It means the angels are close to me. I have lots of support from the universe. I just wish they wouldn't give me hay fever though. Um, I've always, it's been fours for as long back as I can remember. I sometimes get the threes and the ones, but mostly fours. Hey, how are you, Jeanette? Um, yeah, it's beautiful. So you've been seeing a lot of fours too, and Jane's seeing the ones. So we probably should do some of this while we're on here, shouldn't we? Yeah, you're getting lots of numbers. A lot of people getting numbers at the moment. Some people getting repetitive, other people getting lots of different ones. So very strong. Maria's getting sevens. So for a lot of you, this will be giving you signs of whether you're on the right path and doing the work. And I get, which is really cool, that is the message. Hey, Lenore, how you going? These are how spirit gets messages through to you. So don't discount that. The other thing, hey, Maria, how you going? Oh, that's beautiful, Santana. I'm glad you came too. Time to buy lottery. Yeah, after the thing this morning, it looks like money's coming in for some people. So some sort of contracted agreement, I think, for some of you, but definitely money on its way. So if you're waiting for money, it looks like it's coming. I was going to say something then and I've lost track because I've been reading those again. It'll be so much nicer when you can talk. I can't remember. It's gone. ADHD, this brain. But I'll think about it. Oh, that's right. I was talking about the signs. I over the years have had some amazing things happen to me. Like I can remember driving to Queensland quite a few years ago and going on holidays, and a dingo ran across the road, and I'd never seen a dingo in the wild before. And the silly thing I was going quite slowly, which was good because of kangaroos, and the dingo sort of slowed, looked me in the face, and then ran across the road. And which was just such an amazing thing. And I remember because it was so pale in color that it sort of gleamed in the moonlight, like it was really bright. When I was in Hawaii, which is still one of the most amazing things, I actually saw a stout weasel, whatever you'd like to call it, weasel. Yeah, I think it's a weasel, one of those things anyway. Out in the wild, I'd never seen one out in the wild before. I know people have ferrets. That's what it was, like a ferret thing. And it ran across my path in Hawaii. I've never seen one out in the wild, let alone I've never seen one. And I thought that was the most amazing thing. So, hey Denise, how you going? So I think that sometimes we sort of take those things for granted too, don't we? Like we don't always look for the signs that the universe is sort of trying to entertain us with or trying to sort of bring our alertness up with. So we sort of don't always see what's going on. And when something beautiful like that happens out of the blue, or you get presented with something beautiful, it's such a surprise. And I don't think we always connect that to spirit, but it is raising your awareness. So often those animals or birds or butterflies that you're seeing have often got messages in for you. I was lucky enough last year to go, although I was very, very seasick for the first time ever. I've never been seasick before, but I went and watched the whales. And that was the most amazing experience, watching those big creatures coming out of the water and taking beautiful nosedives. They show off. They know you're there. You can feel it. They know you're there, and they pretty much jump out of the water and nosedive and make big splashes so that you know that they're there. They're really clever. Um, Rabbits. Yeah, I've seen a lot of rabbits in the wild too. Oh, red cardinals. Now, that's beautiful because I saw my first red cardinal in Hawaii as well. We'd just gone to Pearl Harbor and we were walking around the big ship that's there. And I came out and there was a red cardinal on the ground next to me. And I'd never seen anything more beautiful in my life. Like it really, I felt quite emotional seeing the beautiful bird. And then I've always told you about the hummingbird when we went to America and we'd gone to see the hummingbirds and the enclosure was closed down. And then we were standing in the middle of San Francisco next to this building. And the next minute we've got a hummingbird next to us. And my poor daughter nearly lost it. She was so impressed. When the whales were beautiful, what happened was I'd never got seasick. I've been out in the ocean many, many times and never been seasick before. And my sister took me for a treat to go and see the whales. And yeah, I was up the back vomiting with all the children. So I just had my head in a paper bag the whole time, but I did get to see. I did get to see there were a lot of whales. Probably we saw, I don't even know, probably a couple of dozen in the time we were there. The guy who was talking about the fact that they have a third whale swimming with them for protection and all these really complex things I didn't know. I was listening to that, but I missed a lot of what was going on. Sarah, I was up the back with all the children. And there was a little girl next to me and I know I was green. My sister kept laughing at me because I was really, really sick and she thought it was hilarious. So good on her. So I had my head in a paper bag and the little girl came and sat not far from me and she was really green. Oh, it was really sad. She would have been about maybe 7, 8 years old. And as soon as the boat landed, she got up and ran off. And it was like instant. And it took me a couple of minutes to sort of stop feeling sick. But as soon as I got my feet on the ground, it was like it was gone. So I'd been violently ill and then it was gone within a second or so, which was really bizarre. Oh, my sister was laughing with me. My sister was laughing at me. She thought it was hilarious because the colour I was. And I said to her later, did you not take a picture? That would have been so funny. And she said, I wouldn't do that to you. Oh, but you'd sit and laugh at me for vomiting. But anyway, it was funny. Yeah, so I can't believe how beautiful those cardinals are. We don't have those. Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh, that sounds awful, Sarah. Yeah, we don't have cardinals, but we do have some incredibly beautiful birds here. We do have a lot of parrots and lorikeets, cockatoos, and all those sort of things. Really beautiful birds. But unfortunately, yeah, we don't have the cardinals, which surprises me really because we've managed to pick up sparrows and things like that, which have obviously come from overseas. But anyway, that's quite interesting reading all your comments. Oh, it's all right. You can laugh at me. If I'm entertaining you by doing something like vomiting, I couldn't have cared less, really. Couldn't have cared less. I was just making sure I got the vomit in the bag. That was the main thing. A large crane wading about the past couple of days. I think they're incredible. Oh, you get ravens there too. Beautiful. I think the cranes they are absolutely beautiful. We get emus here, of course, and we do get these birds called cassowaries. And they are pretty incredible looking birds because they do look a bit like a raptor. They do look very sort of prehistoric, which is interesting. Yeah, the blue jays they used to have in England when I was over there, so I've seen those. The cardinals and the hummingbirds in the background. Oh, you've been seeing vultures in the city. How cool is that? Yeah, that's what I said, the sparrows that would have come over with the boats. Because somebody was, hey, how are you, Sherla? Somebody was talking one day about the COVID, and I was like, you know what? Years ago, they got those bugs overseas with no planes because the rats carried them. So the plagues and things got carried on the boats by the rats. So they still managed to get it overseas. Oh, yeah, but they are beautiful birds, cassowaries. I think they are too, but they are a little bit odd to look at. Um, but yeah, I would be. I've watched movies where the vultures and eagles fly around, and they blow me out. We get eagles here too. Um, a, a couple of eagles, not a lot of different eagles, but a couple of really dominant breeds. Hey, Rebecca, how you going? That's really cool. That I think a lot of people got on board today, which is really awesome. Um, a kookaburra. Kookaburras are beautiful. They do look like you would have kingfishers probably in the US. I know we had kingfishers in England. The kookaburras are closely related to kingfishers, so they're very, very pretty. The most beautiful thing I think here are the boobook owls or the mopokes, which are the owls that sort of tawny frog mouths. They look like the branches of the tree. Um, and you can hear them at night time. So we have them, and the butcher birds we have here have a beautiful song too. You hear them a lot in Queensland. But they have a really specific noise, and it always sounded like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that sort of noise, that do 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 do. I don't know what they do, but it sounds like they've been watching Close Encounters. Um, I love magpies. I'm a real fan of magpies, and I love currawongs too. People get the currawongs mixed up with the magpies, but they're sort of, or with the crows, but they're the opposite to a magpie in some ways, same as the butcher birds. But beautiful, beautiful music. Yeah, magpies are so easy to train too. Um, I had a friend who used to get a lot of magpies in the garden. She could hand feed them all, and then they would bring their babies along. Um, oh, that's not unusual, Scott. That happened in London years ago, where the rats started to go a bit crazy and eat each other because of the lack of food. Um, it's yeah, they do. They'll eat anything rats. So if anybody's a bit poorly, hey Gigi, how you going? If anybody's a bit poorly, you're in bad trouble if you're a rat. You don't show that you're feeling a bit off color because they will eat you. um, yeah, it is a bit that way, isn't it? But I guess you know what? You've got to survive, right? You've got to survive. And I mean, human beings have been known to eat human beings when things have got pretty tough. So let's hope it doesn't come to that. Ew. Scott, you make a big impression on this crowd with the things you come out with, don't you? um, yeah, that's quite interesting with the eating each other. A whippoorwill. Oh, I haven't heard of a whippoorwill. Yeah, don't doze off in a New York alley. Don't do that. I'm feeling better. Good. End of rat problem. Ew. That is my plan. What, to make sure everybody knows who you are? I think they've got it, Scott. Oh dear, too funny. But anyway, it's very interesting, isn't it, to see what's going on in the world at the moment, like the things that are all happening. I've been talking to somebody about it this morning too. It's such a strange time. We're starting to get back somewhat to normal here in Australia and starting to be allowed out. But I still don't think anything's changed. It's like, Sarah, so you could be right about this. It's like a horror story, really, isn't it? We've gone from birds to cannibal rats very fast. Jacksonville. Someone else is in Jacksonville as well, Rebecca. We've got a few people that way. And a few people in Florida. Obviously, some Australian people there. But from some different states in Australia too. So New York is entering phase 1, opening tomorrow. So well, they tell me, oh, Maria, they tell me that the nail salons are opening up on June the 1st and we'll be able to get our nails done. Yes, she's come up with it. Heading to the nail parlor soon. I wasn't sure if you'd heard that or not. June the 1st. I'm crossing off the days until we get there so I can have nails again. But I think everybody in Australia is going to be heading down to get their nails done. Oh! Oh my god, Gigi, that's horrible. Nearly up to so 99,693 people have died in the States. Um, oh, I didn't realise that, Sarah. You're from Worcestershire. Not Worcestershire, as some people pronounce it. Worcestershire. Um, yes, Oregon for Sarah. Oh, you've already had yours done, Rebecca. That's a bit cheeky. Between Tampa and Orlando, Deborah. Okay, I'll have to check that one out because I'm not sure where that is. Yeah, that's a lot of people have died, haven't they, in the States? I don't know how many people you would normally have. Gigi, you might be able to answer this question. How many people you would normally have, like, dying from the mainstream flu for this amount of time in a year? Because I know that that's still part of Worcestershire. Yeah, that's right. It has been poorly handled, but England was the same. By the time they realised, you've got to remember everybody's sort of travelling in and out of countries there. So it got around very, very quickly in England too before anybody realised there was a problem. Here in Australia, we would have almost been corona free. But they brought in a ship of people that had visited overseas, that had done an international cruise, and they let everybody off the boat because they didn't realise either that they were infected. So we've lost 100 people in Australia, which probably per head or per capita might be very similar to some of those other countries. But obviously, we're still quite a low population here in a very big area. But those 100 people that have died, nearly all of them have been linked back to the boat, to the cruise. There hasn't been, I think there's only been, I think we've had around about 6,500 people sick, and there's only been a small proportion of those who've caught it through other members in the community. Most of the people were directly related to the ship, which is pretty freaky, isn't it? So Utah, Sarah lived in Pleasant Grove. Oh, Deborah said that's where she grew up. Interesting. See, I don't even know Broward and Dade. These places I've never even heard of. Unless they're on Supernatural, I wouldn't have a clue. Safe City, Dade. And we're back to bad boat stories. Yeah, true. Very, very true. We'll be back on rats again in a minute. Don't worry too much. 1,000 a day, yeah. In England, they were losing around about 800 to 1,000 people a day. It's just unfathomable. I can't even imagine what it would be like at all. Here in Australia, I think all last week and the week before, we were sort of having only around about, in the whole of Australia, only around about 13 people a day contacting. And we only had, I think we've got 600 people still sick, but not many in hospital at the moment. So let me just find it for you and I can give you the latest stats. I haven't looked at it today. So we've had, in Australia, we've had 7,133 total cases, recovered 6,553. So around about 600 people still sick. We've had 102 deaths now, and we've had 15 cases overnight. So we've gone up a little bit. That's the only thing, isn't it? That, you know, we may get spikes now that we've sort of come out of the strict quarantine provisions, whatever you'd like to call them. Yeah, I don't believe it either, Sarah. I go by the health site. I figure that's probably the best, but I still don't know. I'm hearing all sorts of stories too. All cases were born, in by returning Kiwis and tourists. They've had 21 deaths in New Zealand. Yeah, so it's been, New Zealand shut down. They were really good. They shut down very, very quickly. I don't think you've had any new cases in New Zealand for over a week now. I think the latest news for New Zealand was. But yeah, I agree, Sarah. I think a lot of people are being ticked off as having COVID when they've gone into hospital with other things. So whether or not they've actually had it. 61,000 globally last year died of the flu. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how drastic it is in the US at the moment. Yeah, 350,000 worldwide. So it's a lot. And we still need to be cautious. Remember, only one person had it to start with. So when you think about it like that, one person has contaminated 350,000 people worldwide, one person who got sick to start with. No, and in the beginning, it was really erratic. The testing wasn't great. They didn't have enough tests and whatever else. And I still believe, we had one person here in Australia who didn't have any symptoms and managed to give it to everyone at work. So some people are getting little or no symptoms, maybe just a bit of a runny nose. And my nose is running, but now I'm thinking perhaps I shouldn't blow it. Um, New Zealand has 0 people in hospital now. 650 from the flu at the same time last year. Okay. We're back to rats. Yeah, exactly. That's what it only takes one person. And that's why I say to people, because, the beaches were packed on Saturday. Isn't that terrible? The thing is, ultimately, it does only take one person. But if you've got no symptoms, then you're not going to think you're not well. So the only way you can do it is like we did with AIDS, where you treat everybody as sick and then you're not being in any way discriminating. So if you treat everybody, if we do all the washing of the hands, we keep distance from everybody and we abide by the rules, then everyone's safe. At least most people are. But yeah, people don't listen. And the really sad part, it's all the people in the 20s to 30s who are contracting the illness, but the people who are older who are dying. So those younger people are obviously taking it home a lot of the time, not knowing that they're even unwell. I'm an all-round hay fever person, Moira. It's just that at certain time, April's usually my worst month for hay fever. And you can even tell I'm a bit in the throat as well. Yeah, that was pretty tough. Yeah, I've heard the swab is not nice. My brother told me it was a really bad thing. Yeah, Jules, no, hay fever for me, April's usually my worst month, but I've actually really felt it since we've had all the winds around. Okay, Gigi. Yeah. See, do you remember the approach they had with AIDS was that, everybody had to wear gloves. If you treated anybody, you always treated everybody like they were unwell. And then that way you weren't discriminating against anyone that was sick. And I keep thinking it's the same with this. If we're all washing our hands, we're all keeping the 1.5 meters, we're all getting checked if we have symptoms. And there's enough tests now, apparently, for everybody to have a test. And it doesn't matter how many times you need to be tested. But at the end of the day, if we're treating everybody the same, then we should be able to pretty much wipe out as much as we can. Yeah, it would have been pretty horrible, Sarah, waiting for the results. But I know when they first started testing, geez, you might be able to tell me this too. When they first started testing for the COVID, you had to wait like 5 or 6 days or something to get a result. But I think now you can get a result within a couple of days. I don't think it's very long now. Yeah, I think it's all the wind we had the other day. As I said, I'm even looking a bit pale, so is that right? Yeah. Okay. Because when they first started testing, I know people were waiting ages for results. And of course, if they didn't have a result, they were going all over the place, visiting people and whatever else. Whereas now, 15 minutes now. That's really good. Yeah, 20 minutes, Deborah said. So it's not very, it's not, you're still waiting for results in Atlanta. Wow. So you shouldn't. If they can tell people straight away, at least you can go and hide away and you can, oh golly, that's not good, Shishi. The cheek and sputum blood tests not accurate. So they've got to do it at the back of the back of the nasal passage, haven't they? My brother said it was really uncomfortable. And I said, probably not as uncomfortable as getting the disease, really, but 5 days. Yeah, that's how long it was here in Australia when they first started. And I thought, well, how many people are going to take that seriously? If someone's saying to you 5 days, you're going to go home and just sit and wait for results. So I bet a lot of people went, oh, well, whether I'm sick or not, I'm just going to get out and sort of just get around. So that's pretty heavy stuff. They're going to swab your brain. So you found out you had a brain. That's the main thing. Trying to get in there. It's what my brother said, something about trying to get into, it goes deep, I think were his words. So that's pretty yucky. But anyway, I don't even know how we got onto this conversation. I think it had something to do with Scott. I'm going to blame Scott because he started talking about rats and we got onto the boat thing. So today is Wednesday. So I'm a little bit lost track of days today. Let's go back to birds and butterflies. Yes, I think that's a much better idea. We certainly have a lot of birds here in Australia, and we have a lot of beautiful birds like the mountain lorikeets. Yeah, I thought it might have been you. Butterflies, I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but I don't know whether we have never noticed butterflies very much. When we were kids, we used to catch butterflies and bumblebees and whatever else. It was what we did, tadpoles, whatever moved, we caught things. But we seem to have a lot of butterflies around when we were kids. We had a lot of what they call, I think, cabbage whites in England, which are like just pure white butterflies. And I can remember having the red admirals every now and again, which were very pretty butterflies. But since this has all been happening, people have been saying there are a lot more butterflies around. I don't know whether it's we weren't noticing them before or whether they legitimately are breeding because of the conditions at the moment, which is quite interesting. Oh, that's no good. He hadn't been out or away. Well, that's a bit scary, isn't it? 30 years old. Wow, and that's young too. Scott needs to be the scapegoat. He's a tease. He's a tease. We need to do that. Last week he teased everything. I was like, people are going to get to know you real quick, Scott. Black beetles. Oh, that reminds me of Practical Magic. Did you watch that movie? Because the clicking beetles. Very tired over the last couple of days. Well, I've just been sick with this hay fever, so I haven't been sleeping very well. But my doctor gave me, sometimes will take medication if I haven't slept for a while to have a good sleep. But the doctor's got me on melatonin now, so I'm going to try it out. Beetles are good luck. Beetles equals spirituality. Is that the ones that sing Hey Jude, or are we talking about those, or what do they call them? The Egyptian beetles with the claws. It was a really good movie, wasn't it, Sarah? It was such a good movie. Yeah, going through downloads. I think so at the moment too. New moons and full moons. All you need is love. If you weren't talking there, I could get you to sing a rendition of it. Scarabs, how beautiful are they? I think they're really cool. I think I could have a scarab as a pet. I'd quite like that, I think. They feel really funny on your hands, beetles. We get Christmas beetles here in Australia. Jules will say something here. And there are two different types. There's these little tiny brown ones, which they call Christmas beetles, but they come out at Christmas time. So we have, and there's millions of them around. If you have a screen door, we all have screen doors here, and they will be sitting all over the screen door. The Mummy, good movie again, all of them. And The Rock. I've been at home too long. But we also had these beetles we used to get in the country, and they were a bit bigger, and they were sort of like a greeny colour, and they had like incandescent colouring. And one time, my hair used to be really long. I won't lie to you; it was down to like longer than my knees, like to the back. It was really long. And I went to the races in Wagga when the kids were really small, and I got heaps of them stuck in my hair. Stink beetles. They smell. So as soon as you start grabbing at them, they send out this putrid smell. And I had hundreds of them in my hair. It took me days to get them out and get my hair washed. Yeah, they feel funny on you when they grip on your skin. Dung beetles. Ew. Blue striped bees. Oh, I haven't seen them, Maria. You need to take a photograph of them. The cicadas, yeah, we get sometimes it can be so loud with cicadas you can't hear yourself think. They're amazing things. But they feel, that's what I was going to say, they feel really cool on your hands when you've got them because they sort of like clutch your skin. Yeah, the cicadas they can get very loud. Yeah, it can drive you nuts. Yeah, you can't think straight when they're going. Sometimes they really are so loud. And they're really strange creatures when you see them, because I remember hearing them for years and years and years and used to wonder what the noise was. But they have some really strange, they have a really strange life, don't they, cicadas? Because they apparently live underground for years or something, and then they only come up and live for so long on the top of the surface, and then they die off pretty quickly, something like that. Yeah, even people who see butterflies. Yeah, I agree, Joe. I think that people are saying there are a lot of butterflies around at the moment for some reason, and it might be true. I mean, they've had. It's all right, Scott, the token guy, token comedian. They were showing this clip, and I don't know how real it was. I mean, if you see it on Facebook, of course it's the truth. I know that. But they had this thing on there about all the animals because nobody's stopping the animals going into the townships at the moment. So, the kangaroos are sort of jumping through streets. And this was when it was really quiet, when we first went into lockdown. And they had all sorts of animals everywhere that have just sort of taken to the streets because nobody's there to drive them away. So, oh, too funny. Hi, Heather. How you going? Oh, you're just joining the crazy conversation here. We've gone from, I don't even know, boats to rats eating rats, the Beatles, songs, movies. We've had all here today, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know with the butterfly things, but as I said, there's been people who've been posting like penguins walking down the streets, deer on the streets. There's been a lot of animals sort of been able to get loose. It's not that I haven't seen that in Australia before. I've seen kangaroos. I walked out my house one morning, there was a kangaroo on the front lawn of the house across the road. So that's not untypical. I've never seen a koala in the wild up until maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and there was a little koala. The traffic was really, really busy, and there was a koala at the side of the road, and I couldn't pull over to get to him. So nice to see you too, Heather. Yeah, butterflies everywhere. So yeah, I'm a bit old to run around catching them now, but I used to love doing that when I was a kid. And bees, bumblebees. Dragonflies, yeah, you probably see. I'll see you, Maria. I'll see you tomorrow. Kangaroos across from the house sunbathing, yeah. And that's what I said. I mean, it's not unusual to see kangaroos around, but this was like in the middle of the town. I probably haven't seen that before. And that reminded me a little bit of the Will Smith movie. Come on, the one with the zombies. Sarah, which one was it? Wallabies in your yard all the time in Taylor's Arm. Yeah, some places there are. Yeah, she was beautiful. She is beautiful. I Am Legend. There you go. Thank you. I was waiting for it. I wanted to watch that again the other day. I'm going to go. It's such a good movie. But yeah, they had all the animals in the street there as well. Yeah, I knew you'd know it, Sarah. You're as big a movie and music freak as I am. but it's such a good movie, and I haven't watched it in a while, so it must be one I need to go back and watch. I'm only up to season 7 with Supernatural at the moment, but I have watched it a few times. So, My Name is Eli. Yeah, it was a good movie too. And you know, you and I always talk about vampire movies, so I know you like your vamp movies too. A Firefly, I've never seen a Firefly either. I've seen them always in the movies, but I've never actually seen one. Um, but they do come from America, don't they? Or the US? Um, I'm pretty sure they do, but I might be wrong. Has anybody else? We don't have fireflies in Australia. We have big mosquitoes in Australia, big bitey mosquitoes. They're mean things here. They can make a nice meal of you overnight. Fireflies in Canada, not often. Yeah, because you see them all the time in movies, and I know there's been a couple of movies where they've sort of been very significant, but big as a pelican. Not quite that big, but big. We have big spiders here, very big spiders. But mosquitoes, yeah, we have a lot of problem. If you don't have screens on your house, you can get pretty much eaten alive by the darn things. And if you've got a sensitivity to them, which for some unknown reason I do, you come up in these big like welts from them, so they're not nice. Fireflies were everywhere in Texas with the cicadas. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can smell. I've just put the oven on before I came up here, so I can have some. I felt like some pizza for lunch, so I'm going to have pizza lunch, a pizza party. Um, yeah, I love thrillers. I like horror movies, but I'm not fond of the blood and guts type movies, although I will watch them. I like the psychological thrillers. Oh, excuse me. That's in anticipation of pizza. Drop bears. I've had people with the drop bears before. There used to be a couple of really good ads on television for drop bears. People do believe they exist. But I said on here the other day, I horrified everybody because I said, I won't watch war movies either, Sarah. I watched Private Ryan had me sleepless for months after it, so I don't watch war movies. Anything to do with real stuff. I like the fantasy stuff. I said to somebody on here last week that koala bears were really aggressive. Koalas were really aggressive, and Bugs Bunny. Not war movies, no. They really upset me too. Too close to real life, right? But I said on here something about koalas being really aggressive, and somebody thought they were cute and cuddly. I was like, oh my goodness, please go and Google. Go and Google a koala in heat, a male koala in heat. There was a clip on Facebook, I think, where some poor guy got attacked and this thing's running after him and he's running for his life and this koala's coming right behind him, which is pretty scary. The Girl on the Train was an exceptionally good movie. I actually was surprised at how good that movie was. And I sort of was a bit reluctant to watch it. I'm not really sort of a girly girl movie. I'm a Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger girl. So I don't usually watch girly type movies, but something sort of called me to watch that and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a good movie. Yeah, koalas are really very aggressive animals. The ones you see are generally have been raised in captivity. But then kangaroos can be quite aggressive too if they haven't been raised in captivity. Nice to catch you too, Jeanette. Thanks for popping in. I haven't seen Jupiter Ascending. I'll have to have a look at that. I don't mind a bit of sci-fi. The Fifth Element, brilliant. We love Brucey. Oh, love Bruce Willis. He could do anything. Orange spandex. Bruce Willis, I think he is just sex on legs. He's just absolutely just a gorgeous man. And I've got everything I think he ever made because I've loved everything he does. So he can do nothing and I would find him attractive, I reckon. But he's done some brilliant movies. The Sixth Sense. That was a good movie. Fifth Element was a very good one, though. I think actually Maria's gone off now, but Maria actually wrote on Facebook the other day that she'd watched she was watching The Fifth Element, but I haven't seen it for a while either. The Sixth Sense was a brilliant movie, and I won't say anything on it here because I don't want to spoil it. But I've got to say to you, I didn't get it. I didn't. How would you say? It worked on me. It definitely worked on me. I was one of the people that went. So Denise is saying sweet dreams, everyone, now that we've got into the horror movies, which I think is really cool. Super Green, great movie. Oh, okay, very good. We Be Green. Bruce, no, Bruce can have no hair. I don't mind. I just think he's just a very sort of sexy man. And I Am Legend was one of the best movies. I remember seeing that a long time ago and really loving it, but I've watched it a couple of times since. But I think that I need to go back and watch it again. I'm waiting to watch. There's a couple of movies that are out at the moment that I haven't seen yet, so I might be able to get some feedback from you guys. Have you seen The Invisible Man? Because that one I'm waiting to see. I loved the excerpts from it, the little trailers. Avatar I saw for my birthday in the theatre with the 3D glasses, and it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. So you've seen it, Gigi? So if any of you've seen The Invisible Man, let me know because that's the one I want to watch. I'm going to go and buy it on Friday. Vin Diesel, I love Vin Diesel too. I've loved a few of his movies. It looks awesome. Yes, it certainly does. Yeah, the new version's got I can't remember that girl's name. Elizabeth somebody? Whatever her name is, she's in it. And it looks really, really good. So I can't wait to watch it. I Am Groot, yes. Weren't they great movies? What a lot of fun. I've seen them so many times. But then I love all those see, I told you I'm not really girly. I love all the X-Men movies and all the superhero movies as well. The Changeling, it sounds really funny. It sounds really familiar, The Changeling, but I think I've seen it, but I can't place it straight off. And I love, of course, all the Jurassic Parks and Raiders of the Lost Ark and all those sort of movies too. Probably fantasy, some of those fantasy movies. Yeah, Vin Diesel, Groot. Elizabeth Moss, that's her name. I don't know if anybody watched Mad Men, but that was I loved Mad Men. She was in that. So I've been a bit of a fan of hers. I love Chris Pratt too. I sort of hoped I might grab him before he got married again, but apparently I missed out. So funny man. I watched somebody interviewed the other day and I never really thought Mark Ruffalo. Oh my goodness, he was so funny. I never thought Mark Ruffalo would have been so funny. That's all right. I'm still in line for Keanu Reeves. I'm not sure if he's got himself hooked yet, but I'm still in line for him. Told me on Facebook I was going to marry him, so I'm still up for him. You haven't seen one superhero movie, Scott? Really? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I've loved all of them. Yeah, he is wonderful. The West Wing. So she was in that too. Yeah, fabulous actor, isn't she? Fabulous actor. No, I loved Mad Men. Scott likes rat movies. Oh, you could go to the Titanic, most boring movie of all time. 3 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. I'm not a girly. Those sort of things are just too much for me. That and The Notebook. Oh. Super rat. You can get yourself a name here, Scott. Yeah, no, I'm not really one for girly movies, although I did like Fried Green Tomatoes, like those sort of things. If they've got a bit of comedy shoved into them or a bit of lightheartedness, Um, I don't know whether to say do yourself a favour and never watch it, Gigi. I thought it was terrible, but a lot of girls loved The Notebook. My daughter thought it was beautiful, but it's got that Ryan Gosling in it, and Ryan Gosling's a bit Brad Pitt for me. I'm not really been into them, but now Ant-Man was a good movie. It's got Paul Rudd in it. Who wouldn't love Paul Rudd? Um, Fried Green Tomatoes is well worth watching. It's like Steel Magnolias. That was a good movie too. So those sort of girly movies I can do. Um, there's been a few of them that have been really, really good. But Fried Green Tomatoes, very, very good movie. But yeah, I'm just not usually into the sort of the romantic. Oh, you like The Notebook. There you go. We've got a difference. Dolores Claiborne, anything by Stephen King, I would watch. Um, Oh, the Terminators. I loved the Terminators. Fried Green Tomatoes. Yeah, so a few people have seen Fried Green Tomatoes. No, it was a really good movie. Um, what's the woman's name? Kathy Bates. I just love the bit when she's in the car and she says, the girl yells out the window that takes the park from her and says something about I'm younger and quicker. So she slams her car into hers and she says, I'm older and I've got more insurance or something. It's really funny. Ratatouille. Oh, so we like cartoons. Stephen King, Jules, The Stand. Yeah, all the Stephen King movies. I was a big Stephen King fan for many, many years. I read all of his books and I've got nearly all of the movies they've made from his books on my bookshelf. Who didn't like Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile? Some of his best. The Green Mile I read in installments. I had all of the installments of that and read them as they came out. Willard. That was a really good movie. Golly, I'd forgotten about that one. You've got all of Stephen King's books. I've read them all, but I don't have them anymore. I eventually had to give my books away. I collect. I'm not really a hoarder, but I do collect stuff, and I had so many of them. There you go. Face it, ladies, I'm older and have better insurance. What a great clip in that movie. I'll never forget that. Sandra Bullock's one. There was one of her movies that I can just remember here. Miss Congeniality was a good movie. Um, so let me say, there has been cartoons that I've liked too. Not a big fan of cartoons, but I did loved The Incredibles and I loved A Bug's Life. I thought A Bug's Life was brilliant, but not all of them. So we've got Fast and Furious, Hope Floats, and I love Vin Diesel too. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I liked the early movies with the space when he was the criminal space one. What was that called? The things that were I can't remember the name of it. The Blind Side Together. Paul Walker. That was a bit sad, wasn't it? Such a beautiful looking man, and such a good actor. Riddick. Thank you. That I went to the movies to see that, and I absolutely thought it was brilliant. I loved it. I took my daughter. We thought it was such a good movie, and we came out, and people said, "Who was in it?" And I went, "Vin Diesel." People went, "Who was that?" Never heard of him. Such a good movie, and it got a panning by the critics. They called it B grade movie, and it was brilliant. Yes, it might have been low budget, but it was still a superb movie. Hey, Belle, how you going? um, it was a super duper movie. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I saw the second Riddick one, I think, but I never saw the third one they did. Oh, really? Oh, that's no good. That's no good at all. Yeah, it was a real loss, isn't it? Sometimes when you lose people that are, in the peak of their career, I mean, it's happened a lot over the years, but I guess you've seen all the series, Deborah? Yeah, I get that, Belle. I really do. I think sometimes I've been told movies are absolutely bad, and I'll go and watch them anyway because some of the best movies I've seen are the ones the critics have given a hard time to. Mark Ruffalo on Graham Norton. Joe, I was absolutely, he is so funny. I did not expect him to be, because he looks like the guy next door. I thought, oh, he'd just be a nice guy. And I laughed all the way through his interview. He was so good. Um, oh, you said Ratatouille because of the rats. Nice, Scott. That's going to be your nickname now. um, the Matrix movies, yeah. Oh, Shishi, you haven't seen them either. They are well worth watching, but it's more the underlying stuff with them. It's very, very clever, very clever, very clever themes to the Matrix. I mean, you can watch it as an action movie and a bit of fun, but actually the themes to it are really very, very clever, very interesting. Well, there you go. It just turned 1 hour as I looked up. So I am going to move on. I won't title this particular chit chat as anything else because that's all we've done is chit chat. We might do some fun stuff over the next couple of days. I'll have to get my brain into gear. If you're spiritually awakened, the Matrix is a must. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And as I said, it's a really, the Aussie Goddess Movie Club, I like that. The Old AG. Yeah, I loved the themes for the Matrix. But as I said, the first one, when I watched the first one, I wasn't really thinking that deeply about it. And I remember going back to watch the first one when the second one came out, and I went, oh, I get it now. Oh, Moira, you're beautiful. Remember getting everybody to like the video. Thank you. That's really cool. Enough of the old. I can't really mature. Okay, no, I haven't put the pizza in yet. I've got this thing for these Papa Giuseppe Hawaiian pizzas. They're like a thick baked crust from the supermarket, and I love pizza, and I have it every now and again. But when I do go shopping, I sometimes will buy one of those, the Papa Giuseppe ones. So that's going to be my treat today. Thanks, Moira, for getting everybody to put a thumbs up. You're a gem. All right, I'm going. I might I'll try and think of something for us to do online tomorrow when I come on. Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't it? Yes. But the Hawaiian one's got this sort of really thick crust on it. Like, what do they call it? The bake. No, they've got a name. I can't think of it. But the crust on it is just amazing. I think I said to you guys, my team leader said to me, he called me up to see how I was going, and he said to me, how are you going with everything? And I said, I'm good. Yeah, everything's great. And he said, do you miss being around the people at work? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. Sometimes it'd be nice to be around the people at work. And he said to me, well, you can always come in and visit us. And I was like, yeah, only if I can wear my pajamas, because I don't know that I'll fit into anything anymore. I haven't worn a bra for weeks. Scott, ears closed. Haven't worn a bra for weeks. So I was like, if I have to go into work and I have to get dressed up, I'm not sure that everything will fit me. So deep dish, there it is. Thanks, Jane. Very good. Hawaiian rising crust. Do you know what I used to love? When they used to do the crust with cheese in the middle. Oh my goodness, I should be the size of a house. All right, I'm going. Look after yourselves. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me and for your thumbs up. Mwah. See you soon.